Good morning, traders. This is Perry with USStartupTrading.com. It is Thursday, December 4th, 8:45 a.m., which is when I should be starting my stream for my review to give Jack plenty of time. So we'll see if we can get that going. Uh, so what we have, before we get into technical analysis, let's just look back at, or let's look at the scheduled news is what I'm saying. So we had unemployment claims come in today. That's really the big news for the day, right? They come in basically in line. Uh, the previous was 216. They expected, 219 and they got 191. But, I don't know if you can ever believe any of these numbers, on the first read anyways. So close enough for government work, a little bit better than expected as far as there's less people filing, right? So that's another one like, not so great for more Fed action. So as we look at, we're going to have natty gas at 10:30, and then Bowman is going to speak at noon, right? There's usually less liquidity at, between noon and 1. So she's just due to speak at a bankers association about bank supervision and regulation. But there are audience questions expected. So once she's done yabbering, I don't know how long this is supposed to go, but there could be this would be your you know news to fade more than likely. I don't think anything's going to come out of there. There's going to be new information out of those questions. But keep in mind it is over lunch, and a lot of times we'll get a trend change in setting up and the consolidation over lunch. So tomorrow, right, 10 o'clock is the news for today or for tomorrow, and that's going to be it for the week. And then, of course, consumer credit at 3, but most of us will be long gone by then. So as we look back at yesterday's action, uh, let's start off with the overnight session, right? We had this, we're consolidating, then we got a bump down, right? Pretty good liquidation break going into the bell, and then it was just Jack even pointed out in the morning on his that it could be the low end of the day potentially, and we just kind of slowly drifted back up on higher volume all yesterday. And if we look at the keep me out of trouble fibs, right, you can see on the right side, right, the top one is a bull check, the bottom one's a bear check for the session, and then you got on the top left, you got just uh, traditional fibs for the session, for the bell session, and then you got my custom internals below it. These green dots mean buying pressure. When they're on the top side, and when they're on the bottom side, it's selling pressure. Um, but you can see that it was just uh, a slow, steady march up until about that you know 2:45, 3 o'clock time frame, and then just kind of peter back off a little bit into the close. And then if we look at really uh, the morning resistance, right? If we look at the cash market over here, the SPX, right? 6850 was your morning resistance, right? Then we kind of come back down and we retested that uh, kind of AM swing low, and then all the way back up over 6850, and then pretty much closed right on it like a pin. So as we look at what that was, right, that the top of the action yesterday was this uh, 685 basically, and the SPY, that is your 684.91 was the top. So there was your, little bit of a read, and I think that's really what we can use for the next couple of sessions on the top side, right? This uh, 68.50 on the cash and this 685 in the SPY. Looking at the Qs for yesterday, right? Just not a lot of great read, right? There's a lot of consolidation between 622 and 624 on the positioning, right? had that flush down, kind of wound through it, and closed right on the top of that. If you look at the VIX, right, it just sitting there hugging near lows most of the day. So we're high and tight still in the overnight session. We have two untested points of control. Well, really one. Uh, Yesterday's point of control is up here at 68, 62, 25, and then we have a untested point of control between the bells going back to November 12th. That's going to be at 68, 76 half. So I think these are pretty close. The 62 quarter and the 76 half. Uh, so really, what you want to see is, after the initial balance, are we going to, you know, get and hold above this top side or below the bottom side? It's so tight that I think, you know, we'll see if we just consolidate and ping pong between them before we make a decision in the afternoon. But I think there's a high probability that we get that look above that 68.50 in the cash market today. So I'm not going to beat up that. So as we look, where we're at, we're sitting here. Um, of course, yesterday's points of control, 25,620 for the Nasdaq. So if we're you know holding bars completely below or above, that's a good read in the morning. And for the ES, it's going to be right around unchanged, this 62 quarter. So we're just kind of hanging out on highs. I'd like to see a retracement. And we really should not make any progress whatsoever below these solid lines, which ends for the NASDAQ, that's right around value area low. That's going to be at 25,482, and you can see the one-day expected low move is down there as well. Uh, and then for the ES, that's going to be right around the 68.31 or whatever. And 28 quarter is your expected, low end of the range for the day. So uh, coming into yesterday, right, they weren't expecting it. So I'd like to see a little bit of a shakeout, uh, maybe a false breakdown this morning. Maybe a quick test of value area low. Then I want to watch to see if we put in any excess. By 10:30, you can tell if you've got excess in that first 30-minute candle on one side or the other. And with it being Thursday, we have a chance for a little bit of a direction as far as us day traders go. I don't think it's going to start a big swing trade, but we do have directional uh, bias for the day should be in play. Looking at the cash market, right? This is really, and I'll show you this. You can see all the large gamma for the SPX is above, way above where we're at, right? It's 69.30 to 69.40. Um, we could get up there or not. We'll find out. I would not, try to get anything above this. That would be about 90 ES handles higher than we closed yesterday, and we're currently, up 2 points. So I wouldn't, if we get up there, that would be just where you close up shop. It doesn't even matter what happens after that. But we got some large gamma to get through for the week before that'll be at 68, 65, which is likely to be tested early. And then I'd like to see us ping pong between 68, 65 and 68, 80. That's a 15-point ES range. I'd like to see that go back and forth, and then pick a direction uh, as a pivot on 68, 80. We'll see if that plays out or not. And then for the SPY, it's not as dominant as yesterday, but you can still see between 68 or between 680 and 690. That's where the majority of your gamma is. It goes up to about 693 today before you really start getting extended, I think. But in that flush we had yesterday in the overnight, we come down to the 680, and then during the whole day we just kind of went back up to the 685. So that was your 50-point bell trading yesterday. It just the flush was overnight, and then it was just a take back all of yesterday. So watch for today, 688 is going to be your inflection point. That's your call wall for the day. We'll see if it gets broken. And then your call wall for the week is still 685, but I think there's room for 690. So I'm still watching this pivot at 685, see if we can start getting above it. Then you should get a test of 688, maybe a pullback then. And then if we really have some strength, you could see 690 if we have a trading day today. So this, so the SPX has a lot, and the SPY have a lot of positive gamma. There's a lot of things that should drive prices higher. However, the opposite is true kind of for the NQ and the QQQ. So if you look, there's just a ton of gamma between 600, 605, 607, 610. We're currently trading 623. So, every $10 is like 410 points down, right? So you would be looking at about, 900 points down uh, to trade, this stuff this week. Uh, which is on the table. It's always on the table, but we'll have to see if we can break these gamma levels first. So we're trading 623 right now. So we're sitting here. So one of your bands that you can watch loosely is just 620 to 625, right? You can see that's where the agreement basically is. You can see it sliding down to 618, uh, and that should be a first pause, right? If we get C618, that would be about $5 down from where we are, or a little over 200 points down on the NQ. That should be your floor uh, on an initial bounce, and then you should get some type of a bounce or a dead cat bounce. And then if it's not going to hold it, we're going to go under it later. 615, I don't think you can really hit under today, uh, but we will see. The VIX would really have to be, I think, dramatically above yesterday's high. And when I say dramatically, I mean a point and a half, 2 points up higher than yesterday, and holding, I think, to maintain under 615. Uh, to stay under or get above 625, I think really all you need to do is an incremental low, right? It doesn't have to, the VIX can only go so low. So, but you want to see it taken out yesterday's low, and you want to see it just at least just hugging the bottom, if nothing else. Otherwise, we could just sit in this 200-point range and kind of meander, up, back. You get the point. Uh, so what I'm going to be watching first and foremost today is to see, if we can get below this point of control, take out the overnight low, and then I want to see how close we can get. And I'm probably not going to trade the first two swings today. I want to see a swing down, and I want to see a swing back up, or a swing up and a swing back down before I engage in the market, which could take until 11 o'clock, to be honest with you. And I think the easier money will be had after you get that initial high and the initial low, or the initial low and the initial high. I think there's a pretty good chance for a trending action today. So we'll see what we get. Watch this potential. You got on your high zone. You got that 68.50 on the cash market, right? And then I don't even have it marked out. It's just this blob today, right? And then 65 would be, your next point of contention. But really for the SPY, you need to start maintaining above 685. That's been the lid. And if we can't break out the top side, we should get a test of the bottom side again, right? The market's going to want to probe one of these ends or the other, and I think we're going to get that probe today, and we'll just have to see if it holds out or not. I hope this helps. We'll see what Jack's looking at next. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.